Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to manage time as a student and also as a trader. It's one of the questions that was brought up. It's been brought up a lot more just because people are more aware that I'm going back to school. For those that are unaware of who it is, my name is Ricky. We run one of the largest private trading communities out there. It's called TechBot Solutions. We have a little bit over 160,000 members within our free trading community. It's the third link in the description. And then I also do offer this private course group that gets to watch me trade live every single morning at market open, and that's that first link in the description. So just to jump right into it, first of all, everything that I talk about today is based on my experience and my opinion. At the time when I was already going to college, I already understood how to trade. Although I was still in the very beginning stages, as in barely remaining profitable. One of the things that I want to talk about is I was not only a student, but I was also I had a job, right? And on top of that, I was a full-time student, and then I was trying to manage investing in the stock market and buying my first house by age 20. If you guys haven't checked out any of those videos already, actually one of the first videos that I uploaded on YouTube was simply talking about buying my first house at age 20, and that's when I was still trading. That's when I was a full-time student at ASU. So I really hope that this can give you a better understanding of how to manage time. Again, this is going to be my pretty picture of how it was as I was getting started and as I moved out from my living with my parents in California. I moved out to Arizona. I attended the ASU Polytechnic campus, and this is pretty much my schedule. I'm going to give you guys some tips and some best practices, and really the whole it's going to be really, I think, more entertaining at the end of the video. So I hope that you guys enjoy. I hope I earn your thumbs up. So just to break it down and keep it very simple, this is pretty much what I wanted to talk about. The way that I structured my schedule, this is something that I would put into perspective for someone that's just getting started. There's a lot of people right now that are in the really beginning stages of learning how to invest in the stock market. You might not know if this is a market that you want to invest in, but it's something that you want to explore. First of all, you should probably start paper trading to test everything that you learn, and it's free. It doesn't cost you anything to trade, right? It's all fake money, but it allows you to practice everything that you are learning online. So I'm just going to talk to you about, I made this the way that I structured my schedule was based on a priority list. So what that means is I made sure that I put my top priorities at the very, at the top of the list, and the things that were not that they're not as important, but that don't require as much time at the bottom of the list. So again, this is my approach. You do not have to follow this exact picture. So one of the main things, just because I was living on my own, that I had to do was I had to support myself, right? And when it came down to trading, I was barely, staying profitable. So one of the things that I had was I talked to you guys about the commission-based job that I had that allowed me to qualify for my first house when I was 20 years old. So I converted from working I was a full-time student and a full-time worker for about 6 months, my first 6 months at the ASU Polytechnic campus. And I needed to be a full-time worker to qualify for my house. After I qualified for my house and I purchased and I closed, I didn't need to be a full-time worker anymore, and I didn't necessarily need the extra money because I was already reselling on the side. I was already investing in the stock market, and I had my house, which provided me another source of income. So what I ended up doing was I went from a full-time worker that worked 40 hours plus, and on top of that a full-time student, to working max 28 hours a week. And I remember my schedule. My schedule was honestly and again, it's going to make much more sense at the very end of the video. Let me just get through this. So the first thing on my list was work, right? So I had that commission-based job. Max, I told them I can't work any more than 28 hours. I think the restriction for a part-time worker in Arizona is 32 hours or something like that. I told them that I cannot work 32 hours. The max would be 28 hours due to my schedule. When it came down to school, I was a full-time worker, and a lot of people ask how do you manage trading and going to school at the same time? One thing that I did was I scheduled my classes only to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or on Mondays and Wednesdays. So I made sure that I knocked out my entire amount of schoolwork within 2 days. The other thing that consumed a good amount of my time, usually during the morning, market opens here a little bit earlier than in the East Coast, right? So market opens at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I would at least dedicate the first 2 to 3 hours max of the market. So by 9:30, I'm all done, right? First 3 hours, if you guys remember, if you guys were part of TechBot Solutions from when it first started, again, TechBot Solutions is our free group. I usually like by around 10 o'clock told you guys that I had to like, stop responding to like our the group me messages because I had to go to work, or because one of my first classes was around 10:30, and then after 10:30 I had to go to work and stuff like that. So again, trading consumed about 3 hours of my time in the morning, and then 30 hours at the very end. And then I was in a relationship, so obviously that took time out of my day, and I really invested a majority of my weekends towards that. But even that, obviously my relationship didn't work so well. So definitely could have invested a little bit more time on that. But again, I know a lot of you guys are in relationships, and because of that, that is something that you have to add to your schedule, right? Although it might sound like you shouldn't have a schedule for a relationship, it's just to make sure that you give the right amount of time to your significant other. The other thing that I had was, again, I lived out of state, so I was an out of state student. Everyone in my family lived in California, so I would try to see if I could visit them once a month. Again, it wasn't like my top priority. They knew that they were huge supporters in like what it was that I was doing. They knew that I was working all the time and at least, working towards my future. So they were very supportive in that perspective. But again, my family was something that I tried to add to the list. And obviously the last thing that wasn't as important to me were friends. Right? I had roommates and I had business partners, and that's all that I really cared about. Other than that, I wasn't like really I did not go to any like college parties, anything like that. I really focused my time on my work, making sure that I was either learning something new that would benefit my overall future. So this is the thing that like is going to be completely different from where you are today to where I was when I first started. First of all, some of you guys might either just be a full-time student and not have any schoolwork. I need to share this with you guys. I know like school was never a top priority for me. And I know that might sound bad. I just want to be completely honest with you guys. School was never like something that ever consumed too much of my time. I took pretty decent classes. Like I took like Cal 1 and Cal 2, which is calculus, right? Which was a huge focus within my major. And some engineering classes, and some business classes that are much easier. But altogether, school was never very difficult for me. It never took too much of my time. I know that there's so many people that are, go to very like just prestigious universities, right? A very prestigious university, and it does consume so much of your time. So again, my experience is going to be a little bit different than yours, but one of the biggest things, so you saw that from my top list to the bottom list, the concept that I'm trying to share with each and every single one of you is that this isn't something that like, if you were to make a list right now, if you were to make a list and write everything it is that you want to include in your weekly schedule, right? Like what you do within a week, what you do within a month, right? Some of you might say, okay, well, obviously I work, right? Obviously I want to learn how to invest in the stock market, or I want to trade. The other thing is I'm a student, right? I need to make sure that I put time aside not only to attend class, but to do my schoolwork. 100%. Another thing is some of you might have some dues when it comes down to something that I didn't even list, because again, we're all in different situations. One of the things that I just want you to create is a list. And this is going to be the most difficult part, and this is where I'm going to lose a bunch of you, just because it's going to seem so like beginner friendly that it's going to be like, well, why do I even need to do this? Everything that I just shared with you of my work, my school, my trading, my relationship, my family, and my friends did not happen just one night. I had to speak to my manager, to the management for the company that I worked for, right? And I needed to talk to them about like, look, this is the time that I need for school. This is the time that I need for myself, right? And this is the time that I feel like I would be the most effective here at work. And I presented it to them, and it didn't just happen overnight. My schedule didn't just change. Sometimes it could take a couple weeks. Sometimes it could take months, depending on their demand, right? Or your request and how important it is to them. So everything that I talked about like, you guys might have a specific schedule for school right now, and you might not be able to change it until next semester. And some of you, according to like my understanding, some colleges, you don't even pick your classes anymore, right? And they pick the classes the days that you attend school. 100% I get that. All I want to share with you guys is how important it is to create a list and really try to calibrate it in the sense of like what's most important to you and what do you want to invest your time in. Again, my friends were not a huge concern of me, for me. I didn't care too much about like going to parties or trying to like live in the moment. As of right now, because I've done a little bit better, right? Now I'm pretty well off. I still like try to work 10 to 15 hour days, but I do it in a way that's much more relaxing and much more convenient to my lifestyle. And you have to understand that we're all in different situations. When I was 20 years old, and when I was a full-time student, when I was a full-time worker, when I had a relationship, and then I had to try to manage, buying my first house and everything, that was the most hectic time. That's really what tested me, and I think what really pushed me to be where it is that I am today. You need to create a list of what's most important to you, and from top to bottom, just keep it super simple. What is it that you're going to begin to change in your life? As simple as that. These changes don't have to happen tomorrow. They can, and if you can implement them tomorrow, just make sure that you're consistent with them. But realistically, they did not happen the next day for me. I made sense of a huge part of my life, I want to invest so much time in, not only learning every day, new concepts about how to invest in the stock market, but also I want to implement that and trade every single morning. So I needed to set time aside for that. So that's why I shared, I really honestly traded when I was at school for maybe about 1 to 2 hours, and the rest of the time was really just responding to the group me messages within our TechButt Solutions community. So I gave myself about 3 hours from when the market opened, and then I went off to work or I went off to school, right? And then I came back, finished my schoolwork, and then this is the biggest thing is so many people today are, and I see all the comments right now, that people are sharing about school is a sham and stuff like that. I honestly think so many entrepreneurs today subjugate what the school system has to offer. Yes, I agree that not everyone implements what it is that they learn at a college or at a university, but it's those that are the most successful that once they're at the university that actually take action, that they don't just wait the 4 years, right, to see what happens. They network with people that they find effective and efficient as they are, and they create something. So for all those that continue to make the excuse that school's a sham, that school isn't worth it, regardless of, we're all entitled to our own opinion. And all I want you to remind yourself is, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you're going to do to continue to move forward? I knew that I wasn't doing anything extremely innovative at that time, so it made sense on why I was going to school. I wanted to be productive with my time, and I wanted to surround myself with people that were both effective and efficient. So forget about what everyone else is trying to sell you, that school's a sham and you should just go and pursue it. Why not work twice as hard and go to school and try to start your business? Just manage your time accordingly. But it's so much easier just to say that school sucks, it's not going to work, and I'm just going to go and be an entrepreneur, right? Laptop lifestyle. That's never been my approach. I've always encouraged people to try to work twice or 3 times as hard as everyone else. Why? So many people, as I went back to ASU, are you're a millionaire. Why are you going back to school? Because I want to continue to learn and to network. I know that there's so many talented people at the ASU Polytechnic campus that I will run into, and that I can be a positive catalyst to their success because of the resources and the knowledge that I have. And that's what's important to me. I don't care what other people say about that school's a sham. I know that I will create something 10, 20 times more powerful than what they will ever do by saying and having that mindset that school's a scam. You're all entitled to your own opinion. Do what makes you happy and what you think is going to guide you in the right direction. Start managing your time and don't think that it's just going to happen tomorrow. Make sure that you create a list. You add on, from top to bottom what's most important to you and start to slowly implement it. Habits usually, take about 33 days, if I'm not mistaken, for you to do them consistently to become second nature. So understand that it's going to take time, but it's only those that continuously pursue something and move forward that really make a difference. And that's all this video is about. Just again, I'm trying to share my experience, but I see some of the comments, and it's just such a joke that so many people just try to sham that, okay, the school system sucks. Who cares? If it wasn't effective for you, don't subjugate others because of something that they're choosing to pursue. They're doing something productive with their time, and we're here to empower people, not to subjugate you. So again, I'm sorry if I kind of went off on a tangent. It's just so frustrating to me that people are so opinionated with their irrelevant opinions. It's just so minute. Focus on yourself, focus on doing what it is that you love every single day, and surround yourself with people that are going to continue to move you forward. That's all. If you don't see value in school, then guess what? Don't go. But make sure that you're doing something that makes you happy. If you want to open up a lemonade stand and you want to consistently continue to work towards something that is going to allow you to open up one lemonade stand time after time, then so be it. Then you can create a business over that. And again, if it makes you happy, then all power to you. That's what's important. Continue to do what empowers you, what motivates you, and what makes you feel like a good person. So thank you guys again for your time. Again, all the links are down below. If you guys want to stay connected, again, we do run a free private trading community. It's called TechButt Solutions. That's that third link in the description. I do want to let you guys know that we are running that $500 and laptop giveaway. So if you've ever wanted to enroll and learn how to invest in the stock market, I know time is of the essence, right? Especially for those college students and especially for those that have a full-time job. I have over 1,000 videos on YouTube. You're more than welcome to learn from that. But if time is of the essence and it's, again, you don't have that time to look through all my videos, I do offer my Learn Plan Profit lesson library. You get to watch me trade live every single day. And on top of that, on this upcoming Saturday, so not today, but next week, November 10th, we're going to be announcing the winner for the $500 and the free laptop. Again, all you have to do is enroll and that's it. And I'll be announcing the winner on Saturday. So thank you guys again for your time. Again, that's that first link down below. Continue working hard, continue following your dreams. Let your passion be what drives your success. I hope that you guys are excited to end 2018 on a green note and make 2019 the best year ever. But again, it's these small changes that you begin to implement that are going to make the big difference. So hope I earned your thumbs up. Hope I earned your subscription to our YouTube channel. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.